good morning, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to the final session of DAM Week. So as Ian mentioned, Steve Outerbridge here, Director of Strategic Partnerships at MediaValet, joined by my partner in crime, Mr. Jonathan Yim. Look
Pleasure.
at the
Yep.
Thank
I
you,
was gonna say pleasure to be here, everyone. Thank you very much for joining and having me, Media Valet. And I know that someone's calling in from Germany, so special shouts for those for staying up late for all of us here.
Indeed, indeed. So here's a look at the ground we're going to cover today. So we're going to touch on a look at the existing landscape of marketing and creative teams, introduction into Wrike and MediaValet, looking at the combined solution of Wrike and MediaValet working together, touch on a case study that you may have tuned into earlier this week with Monumental Sports and Entertainment. We'll look at some key outcomes that you might expect when combining the forces of Wrike and MediaValet, and we'll wrap up with some items that we've learned along the way for some tips of success.
Perfect. And before we dive into talking about our solutions and what could be a remedy for our customers today, I'd love to give a little description of some of the pain points that we currently are experiencing. It's no surprise that today's marketing and creative teams are busy, as we all are right now. And as seen from the stats from the Harvard Business Review on screen from 2023, it's the ever-increasing pressure to do more with less, plus the additional task of finding optimization opportunities to ensure sustainable results. Another trend that we've been seeing across the industry right now, our teams are tasked to serve other lines of business, including sales, support, customer service, development, and many, many more. As you can imagine, all this leads to tons and tons of projects, leads to tons and tons of requests, leads to tons and tons of assets through every single business day. And without the right solutions and without the right workflows in place, it's easy for important tasks and files to slip through the cracks. Just a quick snippet on who we are at Wrike. For those who are not familiar with the name, we are a project management tool. Wrike was founded in 2006, originally to combat the growing pains of Microsoft projects. So I'm not sure who's in the audience who's used Microsoft projects before, but it's quite the beast to use. The word Wrike comes from a combination of three words: work, like, and write. And our philosophy is to allow you to do the best work of your life. Wrike is coined as a leader in the collaborative work management space, CWM, and I'll be referring to that space a lot throughout the presentation. We are now 1,000 employees, the global workforce with offices around the world, and a headquarters in San Diego, California. We have about 25,000 global customers across 135 countries, all utilizing 11 languages in our settings.
Thanks, John. If you've made it this far in DAM Week and it's still a little gray where digital asset management fits into your tech stack, I'm here to close the loop. A DAM or MediaValet is your central library for effectively organizing all of your valuable visual files, your digital assets, photos, 8K videos, 4K videos, Adobe Creative files, PDFs, PowerPoint decks. There are over 350 different file formats that we generate previews for, which you can also render as needed. So with your content organized, MediaValet has a powerful search from data coming in from sources like Wrike through information added in MediaValet, complemented with a suite of AI tagging from components such as object tagging, common optical character recognition, face recognition, and video transcripts, and a continuous evolution of other components. Assets have their journey. MediaValet plays a crucial role in governance, ensuring digital rights and appropriate stages in the asset lifecycle, ensuring appropriate usage. MediaValet was founded in 2010, and we've been a partner with Wrike since 2018. It's been exciting to see the synergy and continuous growth through the years.
Now that Steve and I have shared with you how we work separately, let's put some time on understanding how we work better together. At Wrike, we're a CWM, a collaborative work management systems, and it stems from four pillars. First one being the ingestion of work, how work gets created, how works get into the system to understand what you need to do. The assignment of work, divvying that up. Execution of work, actually completing it. And last one is the reporting work, understanding and analysis of what was completed. When a creative task comes in, we run through each of those four gamuts, and work is completed before it's exported to MediaValet. As the diagram on the screen shows, Wrike is on the upper left-hand corner of the frame where work is created. Wrike also plugs into a variety of creative creation tools, such as Adobe, Microsoft products, and the dotted line between Wrike and MediaValet is the connector, which is built in for real-time versioning and rich metadata flow to allow for better searchability and rights management. In the center of the screen is where MediaValet sits, and that'll be a single source of truth and allows for assets to be distributed to a number of outlets, such as your web galleries, e-commerce systems, and CDN links. So this is a great illustration of how that workflow goes through as something comes in for asset creation, where it's stored and where it's distributed.
Awesome. Thanks, John.
No worries. And why better together and how so? With that integration that we mentioned as that blue dotted line, there's a seamless way and a variety of ways of how this can work better. Once you have a license for both of our platforms, the connector is free. Several of the capabilities include easier upload from either platform, so from ingesting from MediaValet to Wrike and vice versa from Wrike to MediaValet, better searchability, more organization in specific categories or tasks. And from the screenshot on the right of the screen, depicts what using MediaValet looks like inside of Wrike. So right now, the main pop-up there is to see the category structures and the blue icons within MediaValet.
Earlier this week, Derlani Murtaugh, who is a certified DAM project management and operational pro at Monumental Sports and Entertainment, ran a session that I recommend everyone tuning into this call watches if they didn't attend the live session. So Monumental leverages the MediaValet and Wrike connector to enable seamless creative workflows across their 8 teams and other properties. Their entire design workflow from request to approval, it's all handled in Wrike, leveraging those request forms and the approval features to provide clarity and guidance to their whole processes. So this significantly has been cutting down those ad hoc messages and emails to their design team who run all those tasks with the information they need to produce great work within Wrike. After the appropriate stakeholder reviews the final assets, it's uploaded through to MediaValet directly, automating relevant metadata information so that it can be used by the original requester, other internal teams, and distributed externally. So today, a compelling stat is they've uploaded, well, Delaney and her teams have uploaded over 100,000 assets to MediaValet using the Wrike integration, which includes exciting content from their teams like the Washington Capitals and Washington Mystics. Doesn't really seem like there's an off season for Delaney and the team, but I'm personally excited for NHL playoffs and the start of the WNBA season. So really cool stuff to see what the MSC team is producing. And here is going to be a quick visual to put the previous slide to some motion action. We're starting at the ideation or request phase. Wrike's most commonly used feature, request forms. The request forms are completely customizable. The pieces and parts relate to the workflow you want to set up, the information you want to gather for the design team, and the information you want to carry and automate as metadata into MediaValet. Here is additional design context and information on the appropriate channel. for where this asset is going to be used. So once submitted, the task is reviewed in the appropriate Wrike queue for managing and assigning to the appropriate team members to start the design work based on priority and availability, including whomever is included in that review cycle. Once the asset has gone through annotations and that review, the completed final is uploaded to MediaValet using the cloud connector. As you can see, the Wrike custom fields have auto-populated to MediaValet attributes. You can add additional data here if needed. And so now we have that final brochure added in MediaValet, enriched with metadata from Wrike to show what this asset is intended for, where it can be used, and increase searchability, enhanced with AI and MediaValet to drive that ease of search, enabling multiple ways for this asset to be shared out. I'm now going to add this final asset to a portal for distribution in MediaValet's portal builder. And so here I'm adding it to a particular portal for sharing externally. And if you click in the chat, Ian is just going to share a portal that's been updated with the webinar that Delaney ran with MSC. Again, I highly encourage everyone to tune in to that recording, as she is an absolute wizard, pun intended.
And shout outs to Delaney, who's actually is a attendee. I'm just going through the attendee list, and
there
she's
you
on.
go.
There
There you
she
go,
is.
Delaney. I learned a lot from that one. So cheers. So key outcomes of what you can expect from the synergy of Wrike and MediaValet. When you use Wrike and MediaValet together, you're able to remove key bottlenecks that enable you to work more efficiently. A few of those key outcomes are ensuring brand consistency, allowing your entire team to access the appropriate images they may need, most up-to-date versions of logos, graphics, and anything else they need to get their tasks done. Streamlining workflows is a huge component. Obviously, you're enabling your production team to push and pull assets from MediaValet so they're able to work within Wrike without having to leave Wrike. So ultimately, this helps all teams deliver projects at a faster rate. So you allow more breathing room and up-leveling your work. I'm going to note here tips for success and some suggestions that we've learned along the way. Starting from leveraging those request forms. So build out your various request forms with the full picture in mind and the most optimal internal workflows, looking at what will make it easier for the team member working on the asset and its review process, and then what's going to add to that discoverability for those that may have requested the asset or are going to be using it at a later date. So who is the intended audience? What is the asset type? Is there a life cycle for this asset that should be planned for? Those are all items that you can front load to automate in that process so that you're not having to add information at a later date, and that it's all streamlined and automated. So the next point is matching what in MediaValet's metadata structure, MediaValet custom attributes are what matches over to Wrike custom fields. So if you're starting from a DAM and you're spinning up a new Wrike instance, or you're starting from Wrike and you're spinning up a DAM, or you're starting net new with both, ensuring that there are mirrored values creates horsepower with that efficiency. In regards to MediaValet being that single source of truth for rich media, it's effective to ensure that the final asset you're uploading from Wrike is at highest quality, because within MediaValet, you're able to render different file types and sizes as needed. And then in regards to developing a clear process and structure, it's identifying key areas where it makes sense for Wrike projects or folders to be set up in a similar way that you're going to have MediaValet's categories structure. So you may have your marketing area or your design area where there can be some further overlap there, just for clarity's sake, has been quite effective feedback that we've seen from a lot of teams using both applications. And then with assets being pushed to MediaValet, if it's coming from Wrike, make sure that they are uploaded through the connector, because that's going to help with version control. If that asset is ever updated later in MediaValet, through Wrike, you're always going to have the most up-to-date version through that bi-directional sync. That is the conclusion of today's run through. We hope everyone got some additional value today, and this is the final session of the week. So thank you for an informative week of what we hope. We're going to open up the poll and then we'll get into some Q&A.
And the poll's asking, who would like to learn more? I would love to learn more. And it's been an honor to be part of DAM Week, and very fortunate to be one of the last presentations here with Steve. And as Ian said, we will be here for a few Q&A questions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're using one platform or other, or just exploring both, we're here to be your advocates and make sure that you're understanding how this can be beneficial to you and your organization. Ian posted a question to us here. Let me just read it out for everyone here. In terms of user permissions, what do you recommend when getting started? Do you give everyone access to a DAM, or do you want to slowly build it up? Steve?
Yeah, I can take that. I guess it really depends on your governance strategy. The great thing about MediaValet is our user groups are can be very granular, and we do have unlimited user groups and unlimited users. So there's no one silver bullet for a blanket recommendation, but you can kind of do a crawl, walk, run approach, where if you want to get time to value, you may look at getting a specific group enabled right out of the gate, and then set additional groups as you continue to add more people in, leveraging category access management. So if you do want to have certain areas of the core DAM kind of gated, such as a design area, where you want to keep kind of walled off from maybe your sales team, that is something that you can do as you continue to scale with getting started in MediaValet or spinning up a DAM.
Perfect. And just to echo what Steve mentioned, we do encourage you to crawl, walk, and then run. By no means do we want you during your deployment process to open the floodgates of both platforms. Understandably, there will be different administration and rights and scope from either platform. So we do encourage the administrators to start off first and then delegate some of those roles and responsibilities as you get comfortable in the system. So I do encourage you to start small and then slowly expand and give out permissions as necessary. Reading through more questions.
The monumental, so Chris, if we didn't attend, where would we find the monumental sports and entertainment webinar? Ian, if you could repost that portal I used in my live example, but Ian will also be following up, I believe, with a portal that includes all the webinars, Chris.
Next
Very
question we have, I believe, is from Delaney. Are there any increased integrations we can look out for MediaValet and Wrike partnership? Fantastic question here. What's currently built out is on Wrike's APIs, which is called Cloud Content Connector. As that evolves, there will be new features that come out and something that MediaValet can build into. So the most latest release could be the versioning that was recently built and other things. So we don't have anything on the roadmap just yet from the Wrike release side of things, but however, this is ongoing. So what we've built out is something that can be duplicated to a number of our DAM partners and featuring MediaValet right now. But as of now, we don't have anything on the roadmap in terms of increased capabilities of functionality, but this is where we love to hear from you. If you have any ideas on things that we can improve on, we'd love to hear your feedback as you're one of our core users and one of the highlights of our user groups.
Great. Chris, to answer your question on the bi-directional sync, it is both ways. Oh, reposted. So yeah, if you update a version in MediaValet, it will be referenced in Wrike. To update the version in MediaValet from Wrike, you would be updating that version and re-pushing it through the cloud connector to be updating versions from Wrike back to MediaValet. But if you had attached, say, an image or a reference file to a particular task, and it's in a task or multiple tasks within Wrike, which is common, and that asset does get updated, it could be a Photoshop file or a reference, a piece and part to maybe an InDesign project. If that asset is updated in MediaValet, it will be automatically updated across those various other tasks where that asset is referenced. And then to do updating in MediaValet from Wrike, you would just be republishing on the Wrike side.
Patty
And
originally asked a question a couple earlier, just if she wants to learn a little bit more about Wrike. My email is on the screen, jonathan.yim@team.wrike.com, or the MediaValet team will follow up afterwards and put us into communication. So either way, if you want to expedite the process, feel free to reach out to me via email, or MediaValet will reach out to everyone and they can send your details over to us after. So two options available there.
Chris, thanks for your great questions. To note your previous one above your awesome summary there, the version history is tracked in MediaValet. If you had been updating versions in Wrike before the final asset is pushed to MediaValet, that's where you'd have your kind of work in progress version history in Wrike. Anything that has been submitted into MediaValet and updated versions, you do have that detailed version history in MediaValet's central area.
I think that might be all for the questions there. Let us know if there's any other questions. Feel free to type into the chat box or into the Q&A tab. But again, I just want to thank MediaValet for the opportunity to present to everyone here. It's been a wonderful time just running through the preparation, running through our topics, listening to a few other sessions through our DAM week, including David Lipsey's fantastic session. And I believe Ian said that all the sessions are going to be recorded and available later on. But Steve, anything else to add?
No, well said, John. It's been a jam-packed week. I've been with MediaValet since 2016, and I'm still learning a lot along the way. So this was a fun week.
Perfect. Well, thank you again, everyone. Hope everyone has some time in your day. And for those calling from Europe, hopefully have a great evening and hopefully have all a great, lovely weekend. But thank you again.